The Liberals have also claimed that non-citizens convicted of serious crimes do not get more lenient sentences in order to help them avoid deportation, but that is a blatant lie.
Gang, what's up? Aaron here, Canadian Looney. Smash that like, hit subscribe. Let's get straight into the video. Canadian federal politics are absurd. Let's kick it off.
Unfortunately, rather than ending the practice of giving failed asylum claimants better health care benefits than Canadian taxpayers have received, the Liberals are proposing to set up a costly bureaucracy that would still force Canadian taxpayers to foot the bill for 70% of the premium health care costs that failed asylum claimants incur. In fact, the Liberals have gotten things so backwards that they are cutting integration support, we found this out today, for legitimate refugees who want to contribute and be a part of our country, while they're providing health care benefits to failed asylum claimants. Instead, the Liberals should support our motion today, restore fairness, and restrict the health benefits that failed asylum claimants can receive to emergency life-saving care only. Our proposal to do this aligns with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and our Constitution. Given the rapidly ballooning costs of the interim federal health program, it responds to pressing and substantial policy concerns. The 2012 changes to the interim federal health program were struck down primarily because they created tiers based on country of origin. Our motion today would apply to all failed asylum claimants. And the 2012 Federal Court of Appeal ruling explicitly rejected the argument that immigration status alone triggers protected equality rights, affirming distinctions between citizens and non-citizens are often permissible. Our policy today aligns with that ruling by applying equally to all failed claimants. Moreover, the Federal Court of Appeal overturned any notion of a Section 12 violation in this 2012 case, and the trial court also dismissed Section 7 arguments, confirming the Charter imposes no obligation to fund comprehensive health care for non-citizens. The Liberals have also claimed that non-citizens convicted of serious crimes do not get more lenient sentences in order to help them avoid deportation, but that is a blatant lie. Almost every week, another high-profile incident comes to light of a non-citizen convicted of serious crimes receiving a lenient sentence and avoiding deportation. In the last 3 months alone, we've seen many stories, including one which included a man convicted of child porn possession who knew it was a crime when he watched it, giving leniency as the judge gave him 6 months less a day, which the judge explicitly said was to avoid immigration consequences. This practice is perpetuating a two-tier justice system in Canada wherein non-citizens are treated differently than Canadian citizens. Having a two-tier justice system for non-citizens and a similar type of situation for health for failed asylum claimants is unfair and needs to stop. We call upon all parties to support our motion today, and my colleague Dan Mazier will talk a little bit more about the impact on Canada's healthcare system.
Thank you, Michelle. My name is Dan Mazier. I am the Conservative Shadow Minister for Health. For decades, the Liberal and NDP politicians have warned Canadians about the dangers of a two-tier healthcare system. This month, we learned that there is a two-tier healthcare system now in Canada. One tier for the people who've paid into this country their whole lives, and a better tier for those who haven't, including those who filed fake refugee claims. It's called the Interim Federal Health Program. This program was designed to provide health care to genuine refugees who were fleeing prosecution, but now it's being exploited by bogus asylum claimants. In 2016, the Liberals expanded the program to give supplemental health benefits to asylum seekers. According to the government, these deluxe health benefits include vision care, counseling, assisted devices, home visits, nursing homes, transportation, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and translation services. These are not basic emergency services. These are deluxe health benefits that millions of Canadians pay out of the pocket or earn through their workplace. The minute someone files an asylum claim in Canada, they receive all these benefits automatically. But that's not the most troubling part. According to the Immigration Department's website, it states that this program covers individuals if their claim for refugee protection has been rejected by the Refugee Board. Rejected, not pending, not under review, rejected. Vision care, counseling, home care, physiotherapy, speech therapy, all of it. Meanwhile, Canadians who have paid into the healthcare system their entire lives are on wait lists. Genuine refugees also on these wait lists seeking the health care they deserve. but they are both waiting for the care in the same line as rejected asylum claimants that only add to the backlog and use the public resources. There were 100,000 Canadians who died waiting for health care since 2018. And because of a Conservative-led investigation at the Health Committee, the Parliamentary Budget Officer revealed that the cost of the interim federal health program will cost Canadians over $1.5 billion by the year 2030. That's up from $66 million a decade ago. Interim is supposed to be temporary, but there is nothing temporary about the interim federal health program anymore. It has become a permanent, expanding entitlement for those who was never designed to help. Thank you.
Quick reminder, gang, smash that like, hit subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Let's get back to it.
Garner, have you had a chance to take a look at the 5 immigration-related questions that are going to be put forward to you and your fellow Albertans in October? And do you think that things like a 12-month residency requirement for certain social services and a national proof of citizenship law for voting, do you think these are things, items that we should put up for discussion at a national level?
Well, as both an Alberta Member of Parliament, but as the Conservative Shadow Minister for Immigration, I want to, direct the answer to that to the Liberal government. Over the last decade, we've seen the Liberal government bring too many people in too fast for housing, healthcare, and jobs to keep up, and that, of course, has had pressure on provincial government services. It's not just Premier Smith who's talking about the impact that failed Liberal immigration policies at the federal level have had on provincial governments. I remember a time not that long ago when Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow suggested that she might have to raise property taxes because of the influx of, essentially failed asylum claimants that were coming into the city. This is why Conservatives, including myself, have been putting forward common sense solutions to restore order and fairness to the federal immigration system so that, provincial governments who have really borne the cost of a lot of these failures can see a light beyond the current disarray that they already have. I would just say this, my colleague Dan, he had the immigration minister at the health committee, and she admitted full on that the Liberal government doesn't consider the impact on provincial health care costs when setting their absurdly high immigration targets or failing to remove millions of people who are on expired or expiring visas. So the question really is for Mark Carney, will he accept common sense Conservative proposals that are put forward in good faith to restore order and fairness to the immigration system, or will he continue to force provinces to have these types of discussions?
Just on the program, the interim federal health program, do you have any idea how much of this additional cost is related directly to asylum seekers claiming been rejected?
Yes. So this is why I put the order paper question in my remarks. So we did have an order paper question that showed the amount of failed asylum claimants that haven't been removed from Canada since 2020. So it was about 86% of those persons have not been removed, and it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 80,000+ people. So that's a lot of people that are receiving benefits for years, right? Beyond that, we know that the cost of the health program, or the interim federal health program, has increased from $66 million in 2015 to over $1 billion this year alone. It's projected to continue increasing. We've also asked the parliamentary budget. There's a motion in front of Health Committee right now for the government to compel the government to give more data to the parliamentary budget officer to break it down into more prescriptive categories. But it doesn't take a mathematician to look at the emergency room lineups across the country and understand that when you're putting 100,000, 300,000, whatever more people into those queues, that there's going to be both a cost and an impact to wait times. So what we're saying is this. This program was originally designed to give emergency care to a small number of refugees who were fleeing war zones. It is now mushroomed well beyond the case, and because there's such a ballooning of failed asylum claimants, and frankly also, we just know by statistics, of the 300,000 that are pending right now, a big chunk of those are going to be found to be bogus, just by statistics in the past. It makes sense for the government to restrict health care benefits for failed asylum claimants to emergency life-saving care only, and ensure that people who don't have a legal reason to be in Canada, as prescribed by the law, which has been in place by decades, are removed.
Canadian federal politics are absurd. My name's Aaron. This is Canadian Looney. If you've enjoyed our video, smash the like, hit subscribe. That is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Get your Canadian federal politics right here. Ciao for now, gang. Catch you in the next one.